we're talking about the Clovehitch Killer today. 2018 Ray's pick caused a lot of a lot of
online controversy.
Arguments
unknown by me.
No, you didn't see it yet? Get in the group, man. Pop in there. Summary for the film: a picture perfect fuck, man. A picture perfect family is shattered when the work of a serial killer hits too close to home. Directed by Duncan Skiles, who the only notable credit I saw on his IMDb were 2 Reggie Watts specials, which was unusual. Written by Christopher Ford, who wrote Spider-Man Homecoming, the movie Clown. I don't know if you guys saw that, the horror movie.
The Eli Roth one?
Roth, yeah.
And a movie called called Robot and Frank, which had some notable actors in it, but I've never seen it.
It was pretty good.
Not
it
too
was
bad,
just a drama. Yeah, but it was good.
That was the one with Frank Langella, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jason, do you have information?
I do. Tagline: Every family, every man has a secret. Distributed by IFC Midnight and on Blu-ray through Scream Factory 2019.
Okay. So
even that information was boring.
I'm gonna step. I normally go first. I'm gonna let Jason go first.
Oh, good. Listen, I mean,
let's just go for it.
I mean, half of this was just good old friendly banter. I mean,
pro wrestling.
I like getting Randy going, and this was a perfect opportunity for it. Let me tell you. So crime drama with a hint of thriller in it. Definitely not horror. No. And I'm not a fan of crime drama. I don't like CSI and NCIS.
Neither do I.
If that's what I was into, I'd watch those shows. I have no interest at all. It seemed pretty well done, technically speaking, but boring. I mean, give me a red herring or something, or a few good kills would be nice. Maybe a little blood, maybe some music. I mean, pretty much anything that makes a movie good, they could have added a little bit of that into it. I don't recommend this to any horror fan. Like if you're looking for a horror movie, I don't recommend this. But if you like NCIS and those shows, then this is probably up your alley. It's a 4 for me because it was, technically it was sound. I mean, they do it. I guess the production crew knew what they were doing, but
it's a competent film, is what you're saying.
It's 4. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm going to jump in if that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I agree. I do not like this movie, but I don't think it's as bad as you just said. I mean, yeah, it's boring. But there is a great idea buried in here about at some point, everybody thinks their dad is evil as fuck. And I thought it was a great premise, just not in a good movie.
Yeah. Ray, why don't you...
I really like this.
Does he have a rating for it?
Oh, well,
yeah, did you ever?
Yeah.
Rob?
On a scale... what was your rating? A scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I'd probably go with 6. Because there was good acting in it. I mean, let's face it, this was just an elevated Lifetime movie.
Rob, what was your favorite scene?
Frank, where's your soundboard at? That was like a point or something for that.
A point?
Your good point sound. There we go. Hey, there we go.
There you go.
Leveled up.
What was my favorite scene?
Yeah, what was your favorite scene in the movie? I mean, you watched the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Well, there were a few. I liked when the kid and his dad were camping. I just thought there was a little bit of intensity to that. Yeah. And there was something interesting about the flashback sequences at the end that I thought were nice, but really didn't come off. They didn't come off as surprising, but there was something about them that I really liked.
Ray.
Yeah. So, I mean, first off, let me clarify something. Does Scream Factory put out Blu-ray copies of crime dramas?
Yes. Yeah.
They do.
Scream
They
Factory,
have-
Shout Factory. Yeah, they do.
They have crime dramas.
I mean, if you're going to come at me with a question, know the fucking answer.
No, I didn't know. That's why I was asking.
You
That's
dumb
why.
son of a bitch.
That's why I asked, is because I didn't know.
No,
I
you
honestly
came at me
didn't know.
and asked me sarcastic. Yes, they do.
I just wondered.
you.
I had no idea.
Fuck you, pal.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm not going to apologize for this. When I searched
Don't.
on Google
Yeah, take a
Or-
stand, Ray.
for horror
Stand.
films
Don't need
on
to apologize.
Netflix,
Just,
this was
just
one of the
pick
first
horror
ones to
movie.
pop up. So I immediately read the thing that Frank read, and it says a serial killer in it, and I'm thinking, hey, all right, qualification done, right?
You don't
like
have to
this-
defend it. You didn't make this movie.
Okay. I
You
like
don't
I
have to
said,
defend it.
but I have to preface it because I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was. And I know
Do you like NCIS and
I do. I love crime stuff.
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Like Hannibal Lecter, that series of books is one of my favorite book series. I love the movies.
And I think Silence of the Lamb is the
Right.
most overrated horror movie of all time.
I remember we talked about that once, but
But it's still a horror movie. It's still a horror movie.
it is. Yeah, Silence of the
Yeah.
Lambs
Is it?
horror.
I don't know.
I
You said
think
it
I
was.
never
considered.
considered Silence of the Lambs a horror
I'm
movie.
not
It's
defending
consi-
the
it's
Silence of the
considered.
Lambs.
Well, I mean,
I don't like it.
Honestly,
I don't like this
we
movie either.
I think that this show can encompass more than just direct horror because we've already done like Hell Comes to Frogtown, Summer of
Right.
'84. What's some other stuff that doesn't like Kuso? That's not really horror, I wouldn't say. I mean, we've done some science fiction
weird.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
but,
we've several times we've said horror adjacent.
I think we
Right.
just landed on the
This is definitely horror
on the adjacent
I got stuck
subgenre
with
that
this-
Jason doesn't like.
Yeah, because
Not
Jason
bad
was
about
like,
that, though.
he was like,
He's
"Would
like,
you
fuck
give me
one I
this?
don't like.
Would you give me
And-
this
and I
drama?"
still gave it
And
a
I was like,
4.
I didn't know it was a drama. When I went to watch it, I was like, oh, I was pleasantly surprised because it had things I like. I like dramas.
Randy,
like
I'm probably
crime
going to give you
stuff.
shit over every movie that you ever pick.
I figured. But when we were going back and forth, I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's why I picked it, was because on that merit. So I wanted to explain it. Okay. Secondly, so the film itself, I enjoyed it.
Apology accepted.
Yeah. So I thought it was well done. Like we've all talked about, shot very beautifully. I don't know if you guys are familiar. You made a jab, but you're not wrong. Some of these actors are from television. One of which is the dad. He plays in a lot of TV shows. He's American Horror Story, and this is the best acting I've ever seen him do, in my opinion.
Yes, it was.
He was creepy as fuck.
Yes.
He gets
I'm
the
sorry?
same performance in everything he does.
Not in this one though.
not in this one, man. This one-
This one's
There
just
was-
subtle.
There was still a tad of overacting.
There was some especially when he's in the mask in the bedroom, you know. And stuff. I mean, there was some overacting there, but
That was
Yeah, that was a
ridiculous.
little bit.
funny.
Yeah.
I think the worst overacting is when him and his son were having a confrontation in that woman's bedroom.
oh god, yeah. That's like my
That
least
was
favorite
just-
part of that movie is that scene. So I get what you're saying because I would have just shot the motherfucker, but that's me. That story would have ended right there. Give me the gun, blah blam, done. I'm a hero. But anyways, I liked everything I saw about this except for a few things, and like I said, we just touched on them. But it reminded me of like a horror, or not, and again, I'm going to use that term loosely because some people don't disagree with it, but like a
Trigger
little bit
warning,
more-
damn it.
yeah, a psychological, let's say that, like a psychological Goonies. These two kids are trying to figure out this messed up thing. I love.
Don't you dare!
You said
Don't you dare!
No, I agree with Randy.
Why don't
you go
How come I can never
I'm
get
100% on.
Yeah.
I'm on board. Say more.
Beep
Please
him.
say
Oh,
more.
You are
So,
a
just let me
pirate
finish,
hooker.
and then you can yell at me, okay?
Jesus.
So
God.
they're investigating this really cool thing that may or may not happen. It's not cool, but it's like crazy. The girl has a really interesting story that connects to it that you don't see coming. You said red herring earlier. They throw in the uncle as a prime suspect.
No, he was
which makes
never a
sense.
red herring.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck
okay.
you.
I mentioned him. He
you,
wasn't
pal.
a red herring.
Anyways, I could have used a different score, but I enjoyed this film. I watched the whole thing, didn't fall asleep once, and I'm prone to do that because of my condition. So
Would
The
you
condition
watch-
of watching
would you
bad
wa-
movies.
No condition of sleep apnea that's untreated at the moment. But but yes, so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I gave it a thumbs up on Netflix. I could not believe it generated this level of, like, I thought everybody would probably be on the same page. Like, some people would be like, yeah, it's a 5 or 6 or whatever. But I didn't see this vitriol.
I gave it a 4.
Oh, I know. But I
I
didn't
gave
see
it a 4.
a vitriol. I thought you'd be like, yeah, it's kind of bored, but there was some cool stuff. But
I'm
You were
just glad
just-
it's not me pissing Jason off this.
yeah, you were just really mad about it, and I didn't know what to say.
I'm not angry. Good Lord.
Yeah. But I
I'll
give it an 8
get
out of 10. I like it. This is the kind of stuff I enjoy. I got to be honest with you. Some of your guys' picks, I was a little jokey with it, but some of them were some of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my fucking life. I'd rather hit myself in the balls than ever watch them.
Especially Frank's movies.
Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island?
Yeah, but I think that's what's fun about this is you guys are forcing me to see things that I wouldn't normally watch, and vice versa. And if you're going to it with an open mind, Jason, you might enjoy it a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.
Ooh.
Very true.
My
All right.
open mind was watching it.
He didn't even he turned Poultrygeist off halfway through, so at least you got through it.
And I've watched that one twice, Frank.
Yeah, watch it again.
Oh,
It's really good.
Watch it around Thanksgiving.
I think that I do think that this movie belongs on the show, just as much as Summer of 1984. That's what this reminded me of, actually, a lot of it. Or like Gacy, like they made that Gacy movie. This is supposed to be like inspired by BTK.
Oh,
or whatever.
inspired?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
right.
honestly, I watched a BTK movie and it was more entertaining than this, so I don't know. But like Silence of the Lambs, it's not horror. I mean, I don't think it's horror. I think it's more of a dramatic thriller or whatever. I mean, even though it did spawn one of the biggest horror icons with Hannibal Lecter. I mean, they put him on the side of spooky house things and shit. The acting is really solid across the board. But the movie gives me like Frailty vibes without all the cool stuff that makes Frailty cool.
Mhm.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I found this movie about as entertaining as an episode of Law and Order. Though,
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
at the end of the day, this is a good version of this type of film. If you like it, 6 out of 10. That's what I'm going to give it. I don't have a lot of fun observations because nothing fun happened. So, I felt like I was waiting to get off the school bus from.
Well, what exactly were you looking for, though?
Fun. Straight up.
Yeah,
I've told everybody.
it all.
Everybody
right.
knows what my taste is. My favorite movies are like Cemetery Man, Dead
Oh
Alive.
yeah. I knew you would
fucking
like this out the
fun. I want to have a good time. My life is depressing sometimes because of depression. I don't know if you guys struggle, but
Yeah.
so when I watch something like this, I'm like, this is just killing part of my life, and then existential thoughts happen, and it's a whole thing. So like, I want to have a good time, popcorn fun, pizza schlock, I believe was a term they used. Demons 2, Demons 1, Night of the Demons. Give me some demons, throw a couple demons.
Oh, the creepy ghoulies stripping out of your pillow.
Yeah,
Not
I
a
mean,
creep.
I'm not shitting on anybody else's taste. I'm sure there's plenty of people that like this movie a lot, but not for me.
Oh yeah, come on now.
All
Who's
right,
next?
so I'll take the lead on this one. So I dug it a lot. Not to the extent Ray did, but I liked a lot of stuff about this movie. I'm a Dylan McDermott fan. I watched him on The Practice back in the day. Like when I was a kid, me and my mom watched all those dramas together because there's nothing else to do. So I liked him. I liked his acting. He was one hell of a manipulator. He's a likable dude. He's entrenched in there. Like no one would think it's him. That girl was like, "Your dad? Come on, really?" And then so he was really good. I liked that Charlie Plummer kid, the kid, the main character, besides BTK Light, and the way those two interacted, that kid was so scared of him like all the time, and the dad knew it, and just the way he talked to him. And then right in the end, the scene you didn't like, Ray, I actually liked it because he was caught so obviously red.
Wrong again, Randy. Wrong again.
And yeah, and he was still trying to manipulate the kid by just spinning a calm ass lie. Like, I'm cheating on your mom with
this is our game we play.
This is a game we play. I'm
it's
like,
called
wow.
stabby, choke.
Yeah. And he's really trying so hard. If I had any other complaints about the movie, I just wish that they would have showed him being killed in the end. Like
instead of just that one shot.
Not that, just they set him up out in the forest.
Right. I would have liked to have Dad, I love you.
I would have liked to have either heard a bang or seen it in all its gory glory. Just as a final exclamation point.
Or just a thing that could have happened.
Or just a thing. Yeah, because it was a pretty tame film, but it was definitely thick with tension, and I liked that a lot.
I thought it was clever though how he covered it up so that his mom and sister wouldn't have to deal with the emotional blowback and all that. You know?
Oh God,
so.
Yeah. His mom, jeez Louise,
right?
She was a nightmare. Here, come clip these. Let's have family coupon
Sundays, huh?
How
dare everybody have that, right?
How dare you use your flip phone?
What they need to do
is
what they need
Shut
to
up,
do
Princess
is
Toadstool.
they need to take his character and spin this off into some like Slumber Party Massacre 2 type of situations. So, you know, that's how it goes.
Clovehitch 2, The Reckoning. Now the sun's in a bond.
Turn it into a big schlocky thing. But yeah.
Super BTK.
Yeah.
Super BTK? That'd be great. Yeah, Godzilla BTK.
Yeah,
Son
just
of
like
BTK.
Give him like a guitar
Kaiju
drill.
BTK.
Yeah.
But I ended up giving it a 7. I liked it.
7.
It was one of those I have meant to watch it because just the name itself sounds cool, but the name is kind of cooler than the movie.
Just like the killer.
Like Clovehitch Killer. It sounds
just like Dennis Rader. Yeah, he wasn't as cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was a fucking nerd, just like Dylan McDermott.
Church going,
yeah,
family loving,
yeah,
hanging out with his kids.
Yeah, still a cool movie. And oh yeah, and when the way he hurt his back and shit, I thought it was a shtick. But then, like during it all, he like got back cramps and shit. I thought that was awesome.
He's like, get in the bedroom and tie yourself
10
up.
years. Yeah, he was out of the game for what, 10 years, and now he's like, oh shit, fuck. And then I thought it was just like a joke to get some, I don't know, to get her to do something. And then from the other kid's perspective, you see he's like in pain, you know. So yeah, I liked it.
Right on. All right, Dave, lay it on us.
All right. So, like, first of all, I want to bring up a correction from last episode. When we watched the trailer, I referred to Dylan McDermott as Ian McDermott, Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. Just want to point that out and just clear the room. Just want to clear the room. Make sure that. Yeah. All right.
You failed.
I did. I was thinking a lot, but like everyone's familiar with Dennis Rader, right? Does anyone not know
really.
who really?
That's the BTK Killer guy.
All right. Yeah, right. It's BTK. Still, so he killed 10 women over 17 years. He wasn't apprehended until like a decade later. But
in the dumbest way possible, right? Like
oh yeah. He was chasing the FBI and like kind of teasing them in the same way that Dylan McDermott kind of teased. He lived a duality of two lives. That's what's so interesting about Dennis Rader, as opposed to like a Jeffrey Dahmer or Richard Chase, where they didn't actually cultivate a family. Dennis Rader had 2 kids. You know, this is very accurate as to his profile. Like it's a story inspired by Dennis Rader, but so the main argument that we're having here is the fact that like this isn't a horror movie, but at the same time I feel like Dylan McDermott's character as his dad played a horrible antagonist to the point where he was almost horrific than anything that I would have seen in like a creepy, ghouly, spooky anything, just because he played so suburban and based, and like I feel like his performance kind of gave that like creepy vibe where you could just see this guy anywhere and you don't know that he's just doing weird sex pervert shit in the background.
His overacting, like, I felt was his mask for that, even though he wasn't. That's why I felt was completely intentional. Overacting. Exactly. Right. Me too. Yeah, he was like, "Come on, buddy."
You're supposed to see that glare in his eye that says, "Hey, kid, you're going to be okay."
Yeah, his eyes are dead as fuck.
And that's what made it horrific. You know, it's
when he buys the flowers for the wife, and he's telling the cashier, "These are for the wife." You know, and yeah, you're right.
It's a complete sociopath, not associating with anyone that he loves ever. Yeah. I also think that this is like falling. Well, Rob, what did you want to say?
I think this movie is kind of a lot closer to Stepfather, again, based on a true crime story and the overacting of the main character. But I can't remember who the actor who played the main character in Stepfather.
Was it?
It's the guy from Lost.
Damn it!
Yeah, John Locke.
Played John Locke.
Okay,
I should know this.
Terry O'Quinn.
So that bald guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. I think his film, while Dylan McDermott, while he overacted, he didn't seem threatening at all. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but he's supposed to not feel threatening. That's the point. He's supposed to be this like Catholic scout leader dad that you would never like. But the entire movie, it's completely obvious that he's the killer. And
100%.
Yeah, and so as the viewer, you're looking at it like, you're looking at it from his kid's perspective, and that's why I like it as opposed to any other like serial killer documentary or anything based on a serial killer that we've gotten in the last 3 years. That's what's different about this movie as opposed to like, I don't know, the My Friend Dahmer or I like
that one a lot too.
And that Zac Efron Ted Bundy movie. What was it? Shockingly Evil, Hungry, Sad, and Gay or something? What was it?
Not quite that one.
Shockingly Evil.
That wasn't it?
Are you telling me that this Ted Bundy movie reveals that he was gay?
I don't know. It might have. I don't. No, it definitely wasn't sad. It was shockingly evil and
extremely vile or something like that.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah. See, I got it. But like all this stuff is like ripoffs on David Fincher, because we have things like Seven, where Zodiac. Or Zodiac. I would consider Seven a horror movie. Zodiac is still on that edge, even though it's horrific. So we're like toting that line between like narrative serial killer fiction and like, why wouldn't you just go listen to a podcast about or a documentary about Dennis Rader? Because you have this movie from the perspective of the kid and they're unveiling this mystery of themselves. That's why they're making this movie. That's why it's not a Dennis Rader movie. It's almost like a self-referential film. I don't know. That's the way I took it.
Cool. So you liked it?
Give it.
I dug it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like the conversation that we've had about this being a horror film because like it really treads the line. But like, at what point do we look at a character so evil that it almost like complies to horror, or just we're gonna put that mark up just because he's so he's obviously based on someone that's extremely evil, but also like I feel like he's such a like Dylan McDermott's character is so much of an antagonist that it qualifies. I don't know.
You're stretching. You're reaching really hard for this. But
okay.
It's real simple. If you're in a mood for a horror movie, you're not going to want to watch this movie or put it in. Like that's the easiest. Like
Yeah, it might
start
be reaching too
for
hard.
things like I could say like
Cool.
Rambo, who fucking killed all those people.
Yeah,
Like he's
but
like
I
reaching
liked it.
here.
I like this movie because it scratches that itch of true crime, but it also brings that realism of like a narrative movie. Like I feel like
you guys think Jason, do you think in Vietnam Rambo's 2 is like the worst horror film of all time?
No,
It's like
Not at all.
that's like their
No.
Freddy Krueger.
I'm just saying, like we could. I mean, if we want to start reaching, like you can kind of reach on anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
It was
if
a
you're-
slow
if
burn
you want a horror
thriller.
movie,
That
it was a slow burn. It was very atmospheric. I'm so tired.
I
My,
don't.
my wife would probably love this movie. I mean, she's definitely into
Yeah.
NCIS. And
Yeah.
it's like she would probably love this movie. But
That's the way I feel about my wife too. She would probably like it.
Right. It's that true crime itch, but it's also
think-
a narrative film that also plays off of like BTK. Like his demise was really anticlimactic. He got caught by the FBI because he sent them a floppy disk from his church, and they just found it from his church 10 years later. And his kids were like, "I didn't know," but like, it's cool that someone wrote a movie that was like, "Hey, okay, what if his kids figured it out?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how would they handle
Yeah.
it?
See, and that was the thing. I never thought the dad would kill the son. I never had that tension there.
I did like that part where they were walking in the woods.
The gun was empty.
Yeah.
But they were also playing with time at that point too, because there was the same scene that they played prior, and then it seemed like a dream sequence, and like, okay, this is happening anyway. So,
Yeah. Did you
What
rate
else, Hunter?
it? Did you rate
No.
it, Dave?
Yeah, Dave, what'd you give it?
I'm gonna give this 7, probably 7. I also wanted to talk to you guys.
Big two hillbillies were blowing on them.
Very nice quality. Since you guys are really into true crime mostly, I wanted to talk to you about the new rendition of Michael Myers, because they've turned him into like a conventional serial killer in the new reboot. I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
The thing about it, Dave, is that there's funny shit in there. There's like levity. There's like set pieces. There's cool gore things that happen. So
Great
like,
music.
if they would like we just watched Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer on the other show. That does serial killer right. If you want it to be a horror movie, like you got to have the fucking fireworks. You got to
Atmosphere.
you got to have something there. And this didn't even seem as good as a true crime thing, because at least you're getting the reality of what the thing is. Because Dennis Rader's, is he still alive?
Yeah,
He's in jail.
Yeah. So his
He's rotting
ending
in
was-
jail.
The only interesting thing that happens in this is the ending, wherever the boy kills his father, the whole thing that didn't happen in real life. So you've taken a boring story and made it slightly less boring, where you could have taken any creative
Yeah, but
license
there's
you wanted to and make
So
it
the oth-
entertaining. Give me a funny
Correct.
line here.
You're
or
right.
there. Give me a fucking
Make it more
interesting
creative.
kill.
Like
You
don't
didn't laugh when
wallow
they-
in the fact that there was a serial killer that existed. Apparently, whoever made the film was completely obsessed with Dennis Rader. Like it had to have been.
Just I
So-
mean, even if it's a cool line, I don't have to laugh. But
I
give
was
me
gonna say,
something.
nobody laughed though. I laughed like 5 times in this thing. I guess I'm just a
I had
sicko.
some chuckles. I had
mean,
some chuckles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody likes
Like,
different stuff, though. Guys.
Does anyone like the new Halloween rendition of Michael? Like
I love it.
Like obviously
I like
it's a
it.
different
I like it
movie,
too.
but
Yeah.
I told you earlier. I think I like it more than
Yeah.
the original, but that's just me as a fan, a person who's not a huge Michael Myers guy.
I just
Like,
feel
yeah.
like that's the direction that horror is almost headed, because they're basing everything and making it much more realistic.
But I think Danny McBride's writing is what makes that movie great. I mean,
Mhm.
I got to lay it on
I
him.
can't wait to see this next one. I think it looks like
Me
insane.
too.
Like what you're
Cool,
talking
yeah.
about. What you're talking
Yeah.
about, Frank. It looks like it hits every one of those fucking
Yeah.
boxes.
Well,
Oh,
Danny
yeah.
McBride is a funny dude who loves horror movies. I've heard him talk about it before they even released it. He was
100%. Yeah.
It was like it
Yeah.
was all his heart putting in this, instead of like what Rob Zombie did, which was just love the idea of the Halloween movies and kind of just really want to put your decorations all over it. So,
I really like the first Rob Zombie movie.
It's not bad. I
No.
never watched the second one because I just heard it was terrible and I didn't
It
find
is
it.
weird.
Yeah.
I have found it almost unwatchable, but
Yeah, I always
I
get
like this. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. All right.